The forest held its breath. Fog snaked between ancient trees, muffling every sound. Only the rustle of leaves broke the silence. Then a twig snapped. A whisper, barely audible, drifted through the trees. Someone or something was watching. Hidden in the shadows, its eyes glinted with an unnatural light. It was old, far older than the forest itself, and it could take any form it desired. The stories had always been whispered around campfires, passed down through generations. Tales of creatures who could twist their bodies, changing their shape at will. Creatures who walked among us wearing the faces of our loved ones. These were not mere campfire stories, these were whispers of something ancient and powerful, something to be feared. Across cultures, the stories echo. From the icy plains of Scandinavia to the deserts of the American Southwest, legends speak of beings with the ability to shed their skin, taking on the forms of animals and men. The Navajo tell of the skinwalkers, malevolent witches who have embraced the darkest of magic, their power allowing them to transform into wolves, coyotes, even bears. These creatures are not to be spoken of directly for fear of drawing their attention. They are harbingers of misfortune, their presence a curse upon the land. But whispers persist, passed down through generations, warning of the danger that lurks in the shadows. Jacob Miller was a simple man, known for his kind heart and gentle demeanor. He was the kind of person who would help a neighbor fix a fence or lend a hand during harvest season. He lived in a small town where everyone knew their neighbors, where doors were left unlocked at night. It was a place where trust was the foundation of the community and everyone felt safe. Then, one cold November night in 1978, Jacob vanished. The air was thick with mist and the town was eerily quiet. He went out for his usual evening walk and never returned. It was a routine he had followed for years, a time for him to clear his mind and enjoy the tranquility of the night. His wife, Martha, found his truck parked at the edge of the woods, the engine still running. She knew something was terribly wrong. The driver's side door was wide open, as if Jacob had left in a hurry. Martha's heart raced as she called out his name, but there was no response. But there was no sign of a struggle, no footprints in the soft earth. The ground was undisturbed, as if no one had been there at all. It was as if he had simply vanished into thin air. The fog seemed to swallow everything, leaving no trace of Jacob behind. The only clue was a single muddy footprint on the floor of the truck. It was an odd detail that puzzled everyone who saw it, a footprint far too large to belong to a man. It was a mystery that would haunt the town for years to come, a question that remained unanswered. The rational mind balks at the idea of shapeshifters. Science tells us that such transformations are impossible, violations of the very laws of nature. And yet, the stories persist. Could there be a grain of truth buried beneath centuries of myth and folklore? Some researchers believe there might be. They point to the ability of certain animals, like the mimic octopus, to change their appearance at will, blending seamlessly into their surroundings. They speak of ancient rituals and hallucinogenic substances that could induce vivid hallucinations, blurring the line between reality and nightmare. Section 5. Whispers from the Bluegrass State, the Kentucky Silence. In the heart of Kentucky, shrouded in mist and legend, lies a region known as the land between the lakes. This area is steeped in mystery and folklore, a place where the natural beauty of the landscape is intertwined with tales of the unexplained. It is a place of haunting beauty, where the rivers wind through dense forests and the hills seem to whisper secrets to the wind. The dense canopy of trees creates an almost otherworldly atmosphere, making it easy to believe in the supernatural stories that have been passed down through generations. It is also a place where the veil between our world and the next seems to thin, where stories of the supernatural abound. The locals often speak of ghostly apparitions and eerie lights that appear without warning, adding to the region's enigmatic allure. Locals speak of a period in the early 20th century known as the Silent Epidemic. During this time, an unsettling quiet fell over the region, and the usual sounds of daily life were replaced by an eerie stillness. People began to disappear, their homes found abandoned, their belongings untouched. The sudden and unexplained vanishings left the community in a state of fear and confusion, with no clues as to what had happened to their friends and neighbors. Whispers spread of strange creatures sighted in the woods, creatures that defied logical explanation. These sightings only added to the growing sense of dread that permeated the area. Creatures that walked on two legs, but had eyes that glowed like embers in the night. These chilling encounters were recounted in hushed tones, as if speaking of them too loudly might summon the very beings they feared. Section 6. Sarah's story, a husband transformed. Sarah lived in a small town on the edge of the land between the lakes. It was a peaceful place, surrounded by nature, where everyone knew each other. The dense forest nearby was both a source of livelihood and a place of mystery. Her husband Tom was a logger, a strong, silent man who loved the outdoors. He spent most of his days in the forest, chopping wood and bringing home stories of the wild. Then one day, Tom returned from the woods a changed man. His usual vigor was replaced by a strange, unsettling demeanor. He was withdrawn, his eyes distant and cold. The warmth that once defined him seemed to have vanished overnight. He barely spoke to Sarah, and when he did, his voice was different, deeper, as if it belonged to someone else. The man she had known for years seemed like a stranger. One night, Sarah awoke to find Tom standing over their bed, his eyes glowing in the darkness. It was as if he was possessed by some otherworldly force. He was no longer the man she knew. His once gentle demeanor had turned sinister, and his presence felt ominous. Something else looked out from behind his eyes, something ancient and predatory. It was as if an ancient spirit had taken over his body. Terrified, Sarah fled into the night, the image of her husband's transformed face seared into her memory. She ran through the dark forest, her heart pounding, not knowing what had become of the man she once loved. Section 7. Shadows in the Digital Age, Modern Encounters. In the age of smartphones and social media, stories of the supernatural have found new life. Grainy images and videos surface online, capturing fleeting glimpses of something unexplainable. Are these merely hoaxes, clever manipulations designed to exploit our deepest fears? Or is there something more to these modern encounters? Reports come from all corners of the globe. Hikers report seeing shadowy figures lurking in the woods, their eyes glowing an eerie yellow in the darkness. Drivers swerve to avoid what they believe to be animals darting across the road, only to find no trace of them upon closer inspection. Section 8. The Face in the Video. Texas, 2016. In 2016, a chilling video surfaced online. Shot on a trail camera in a remote part of Texas, it showed a dark figure moving through the woods. Its movements were jerky, unnatural, and its face was blank, devoid of any features. The video went viral, sparking debate and speculation. Some dismissed it as a hoax, a clever manipulation of CGI. Others saw it as proof that we are not alone, that something lurks in the shadows, watching, waiting for its moment to strike. Section 9. They Walk Among Us. A chilling question. The possibility remains, the possibility that the stories are true. That somewhere out there in the darkness, something is watching us. Something that can take on any form it desires. Something that could be anyone, even someone you love. Look around you, at the faces in the crowd, at the people you pass on the street. Do you really know who they are? Or are they hiding something beneath the surface? The next time you feel a chill run down your spine, the next time you think you see something move in the shadows, Ask yourself this: have you met a shapeshifter?